If I was to ask you this question, who is the master of you? Is it your mind? Is it your body? Or is it you? So if I was to ask somebody randomly on the street, they may just look at me, who's my master? What's the difference? Like, me, yeah, my mind, yeah, me. And so I want to make this video because there's a lot that can be explained about this, about what it is that we're talking about who is the master, on whether or not our mind is the master of who we are, or our body is the master of who we are, or whether or not our mind and our body is just a tool, a vehicle. And so this is the basis. I would say this is one of the basis for self-realization. And self-realization is the term, I would say, of when somebody realizes that they are not their mind, nor are they their body, but that they are the consciousness that is observing their mind and that their body, but they are not neither of those. So if this makes perfect sense to you, perfect and awesome, then what I'm going to say will just be, you'll pretty much agree, or just be some interesting points. If you're hearing this right now and you're going, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not clicking and nothing is coming on. What? That doesn't make no sense. Then this video is for you, because self-realization is one of the primary and aspects of spirituality, almost like the goal for spirituality. Now, that's just one perspective of looking at it. You know, spirituality is just as big as everything. So, but if I had to go ahead and pinpoint it into something that a person can go ahead and focus on, I would say self-realization. So the reason why we are not our mind or our body, I want you to think about this. So the question was, are we the master of it? So if we are the master of our mind, what that means is, if our mind is saying something, we don't have to listen to it. We don't have to agree. We don't have to let it influence us, because we're the master, right? The mind is working for us. It is a tool. I would not listen to my tool. My tool listens to me, right? It's like I'm driving a car and my car is like, we're going to this direction. I go, no, we're going that direction. That's where I want to go. And if the car doesn't listen, I would go ahead and make the car listen, right? So with our mind, it's the same thing. But if we don't realize this, then what happens is, whatever our mind is saying, we believe that this is what should happen. We believe that this is the truth. And if we don't believe that it's the truth, then we also would just believe, or we would be influenced. We would be influenced completely. And it's very difficult to escape the mind, because it's with you all the time. It's that voice in your head. It's the images that we see. And so you can't really get away from it much. You know, you can create a little separation here and there, but for the most part, it's right there. If we understand that we are not our mind, and we are not the thoughts and the images, that we are the consciousness, the observer, we are observing the mind. The mind is like a river. And it's like a river that's constantly passing. And we see thoughts, it passes, we see images, we see ideas, we see all of these things just passing and passing and passing. But we don't attach ourselves to it. We don't go ahead and totally be lost in whatever is passing. We see it, we're aware that it's there, but we don't identify with it. See, self-realization is when we disidentify with our thoughts, with our mind and we disidentify with our body. So therefore, I have the identity of who we are as consciousness, as the observer. If you ever heard anybody or written anywhere with the word I am, and then that's it. There is no I am blank, 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 blank. No, there's just only I am. This is basically talking about, pointing to the same thing. When we say I am, and that's it, then we are basically stating that we are consciousness. We are the observer, the awareness. We are the thing that cannot be pointed to. And so to say that we are even consciousness is, in reality, technically it is not 100% true, because if not, it would be I am consciousness. But the I am part of us is the part that is eternal, that is constantly aware of our life, aware of everything that is happening. But we are not the things that are happening. So this video can last for a very long time as we dive into a subject like this, But my point of the video is just to go ahead and plant a seed if this is something that is new to you, and just to have you start to look into it. There is countless amounts of information that will start to describe and start to talk about self-realization, about letting go of this attachment to the thoughts that we have, identifying it to be us. If I was to go and say, God, I'm having such a bad day, I hate this thing, and I hate this thing, and I hate this thing, God, my life sucks. And if I keep saying that, then one day I might go, you know what? I don't want to believe that anymore, because all those other times I believed it and my reality reflected it. But now I go, I don't want to believe that anymore. But that doesn't mean that I get to stop these thoughts. I might have been saying this for a few months or maybe a few years. And now that I want to stop it, I can't stop it. It just still comes. All right, I'm just kind of chilling, still complaining about this, complaining about this. And I realize I don't really want to complain, but yet it's just happening constantly. It's like on autopilot. It's like my mind has patterns, right? We all have behavioral patterns, habits of thinking, habits of behaving. And so in our head, our thought habits are, I keep judging, I keep complaining. But when we start to learn that we are not the master of our thoughts and that we don't let it dictate us, we may still be complaining and still hearing these things, but we are not letting it influence us. Now this becomes like just somebody in the room, or like a radio or a TV playing. We don't have to believe everything that we're hearing or that we're watching. We don't have to believe everything that a person is sharing with us. But maybe we're not able to shut it off. We're not able to get away. So therefore we are still experiencing it through our senses. We still see it or we still hear it, but we don't have to let it influence us. So therefore, now we're able to take back control over our life. So if I go, I don't want to be this person, who's constantly negative and complaining all this. I want to be a positive person. But in order to be positive, it's going to be very difficult if I'm constantly hearing these negative complaints and also feeling these negative complaints, feeling these negative thoughts and these negative perspectives. How about if I wanted to go ahead and be positive? How can I be positive while still hearing this negativity that's left over from the way I was before, but now I still can't stop it? And the first step is to realize that you're not your thoughts, that you're not your mind. And now the same thing goes with your body. Just because we feel what's happening in the body doesn't mean we have to obey it. You ever hear people talk about how they say, listen to your body, right? Now that's really important. It's great. Listen to your body. But I think if we were to dive into a little bit deeper, what is actually being explained is that we need to be aware of what is happening in our body. But that doesn't mean that we need to listen and obey blindly what is happening to the body. So here's an example. Let's say here's a real life example, right? I'm standing outside right now. It's got to be about 50 degrees, maybe mid 40 degrees. It's cold, like my feet is freezing, all right? Straight up becoming numb right now. So is my hands. So if I'm listening to my body and my body goes, it's cold as shit out here, I need to go and get inside or put on a jacket or a glove or have some shoes. But that's what my body is. That's the awareness. That's what's happening in my body. It's cold. Now, I am the master. Now, I say, nope, I'm going to stand out here. I'm aware that my body is happening to my body. This is happening. But I still choose to stand out here and finish this video with you guys. That's the difference. When we are the master of our body, we are aware of what's happening. It's always good to be aware because this is the vehicle. Our body is the vehicle in which we live this life. So we want to know if it's strong, if it's weak, or if it's cold, or if it's hot, or if it's injured, or something is wrong with it. But we don't want to go ahead and blindly let the condition of our body dictate our thoughts or dictate our actions and dictate our decisions. We only let it to be a variable. We let it to be information that we gather, just like everything else. If we let everything around us dictate our thoughts and our decisions and choices in our life, then we become a victim or a consequence and an effect of our environment. And while we know that our environment affects us a lot, but we don't have to let it affect us completely. We have the ability to take back control. So that same thing goes with our mind. So let me know how this video goes. Share with me in the comments below. I'm doing my best to answer all the comments, but it's a lot of comments coming from a lot of videos now. And but I want to get your opinions on this. This is a very deep subject, and so I completely understand if you have tons of questions. Great. Now it gives me some direction to go and see what other videos in this topic that I can share about. This is probably once this is understood, this concept, this topic is a very powerful topic to get into. And for the people that are looking into spirituality, for the people that are looking into plant medicines, that are looking into psychedelics, they're looking into a purpose, they're looking into understanding more about life, about themselves, this is right up your alley. And this is probably the very next thing that needs to be taken a look at. So thanks for watching, guys. Later.